There are so many movies I saw as a kid that just disappeared in my brain over time. So today we're going to go through some of those forgotten kids movies, pointing out what happens in them and some weird memories I have with them as well. So without further ado, let's get right into it. The first movie I thought of was The Ant Bully, and this movie is about a kid named Lucas who bullies ants all the time until the ants eventually get fed up and try to teach him a lesson. And the way they do that is by shrinking him down to their size. So all of a sudden this little kid just has to live in an ant colony. Navigate their little society. He does jobs, he learns their rules, and does all of these things while trying not to get eaten, because he's like really tiny now. Now, over the course of the movie, Lucas has to help defend the ants against a giant enemy. Then along the way, he starts to realize that he should be treating others better. He learns about teamwork and begins to really understand the ants. So by the end, Lucas isn't just a mean kid who destroys the ants, and he's actually boys with them now. So yeah, I remember this movie scaring me a little bit because there's a scene in this movie where Lucas has to eat like these green balls of like slime and goo. Just basically what I like to call glob. And that like disgusted me so much. Like I did not want to have anything to do with eating glob. So yeah, that's a part that really stuck with me with this movie. But yeah, let's move on to the next movie. And this is one of my favorites, Over the Hedge. When I was younger, I saw this movie probably 10 times. And while I was doing research for the video, I found this movie and I was like, oh my God. So I hope you guys have seen it a lot too, because I have so many memories with this movie. But yeah, Over the Hedge follows a group of animals who wake up to discover a huge suburban neighborhood has appeared where their forest used to be. And they meet RJ, who is in sort of a pickle. RJ tried to steal food from a bear, and he got caught, and now he owes them a ton of human food. And that's what this movie's kind of about. RJ convinces them to help him steal human food, so he can pay off his debt to the bear, which leads to so many great scenes. Now, throughout the movie, the animals figure out how to adapt to the suburban life around them now. And it's really fun to see them outsmart all the humans because they're kind of the bad guys in this movie, I guess. One thing I like about this movie is all the different animals and different personalities. I think they're great. I'll never forget Hammy. He was goated. So yeah, Over the Hedge. Banger. Now let's talk about one that I think less people may know, but I don't know. We'll see. This one's Gnomeo and Juliet. And this movie is literally just Romeo and Juliet, but with gnomes. And this low-key became a franchise because I know there's one with like Sherlock Holmes called Sherlock Gnomes. So yeah, these were kind of popular, I guess, maybe. I don't really know who was watching these besides me, but let me know in the comments below. So it centers around two rival gnome families, the Reds and the Blues. And they're in some crazy intense beef. And naturally, Romeo and Juliet, they fall in love. So the movie follows their attempts to be together while avoiding all the obstacles that their family creates. And by the end of the movie, they survive all the conflicts and both families live happily ever after, all while being gnomes. So yeah, this was a classic for me as a kid. I used to have a TV in my parents' car that was on like the back of their chairs, and this was playing on repeat all the time because we had the DVD. So yeah, I saw this movie a lot. Now let's talk about the next movie that I rediscovered by scrolling through reels, because that's all I do with my life, and it's the Boxtrolls. So this movie tells the story of a boy named Eggs, and he was raised by the Boxtrolls, who are a group of like trolls that live under the ground and they wear boxes on them. Now conflict arises when this villain attacks. He threatens to get rid of the Boxtrolls because he wants to like gain status and go up in society while wearing a fancy hat. So Eggs has to stop this so he can like save his family. So this movie follows Eggs in his adventure as he goes below the ground and above the ground and learns about bravery and loyalty while saving his family. So yeah, he learns to be his true self and stand up to injustice. Hell yeah. Even when the odds are stacked against him. So yeah, it's a cool movie. It's also in like stop motion, so that's really cool as well. I wish there were more movies like that, but there really aren't anymore. It's normally 3D, which I still like 3D, but stop motion obviously has a different feel and is really cool. Alright, so let's talk about another movie that was in stop motion, and that's Frankenweenie. And I remember when I was younger, the marketing for this movie is pretty big. I think there were McDonald's toys, but I might be wrong about that. So yeah, I was really excited about this movie, and I think it was because I was always drawn to like horror stuff, and this was kind of like a horror-ish movie. It involves like Frankenstein, so Frankenweenie is about a boy named Victor, just like in the actual Frankenstein movie, and his dog Sparky, who dies sadly, very sad stuff. So Victor brings him back to life using science, and this is basically just a kid-friendly version of Frankenstein. As Victor experiments, other kids try to recreate his experiments, which leads to crazy stuff going on around town. And I think the movie does well balancing the spooky vibe and like the emotional vibe. So yeah, Victor learns lessons about death and friendship. So yeah, the story is a mix of creepy and heartfelt, and I totally forgot about it, but now that I'm making this video, I remember it now, and you do too. Now here's the final movie, and when I say I used to watch movies in my family's car, this movie is probably played at least 100 times, and it's Hot. Now, Hop is about the Easter Bunny's teenage son who runs away from home to pursue his dreams of becoming a drummer in LA. He ends up living with a random dude while the Easter Bunny's factory is in chaos trying to find him so they can keep Easter on schedule. So this movie follows EP as he learns responsibility, faces challenges, and navigate the world where there's some human characters and some animated characters. Which reminds me of that one movie, Looney Tunes Back in Action, which, oh my god, I've seen this one a million times. Me and my family were massive Looney Tunes fans. I'll definitely talk about that one if I make a part 2, so subscribe so you can see a part 2 if you want to hear me talk about these kind of movies again. But yeah, Hop, I saw that movie a million times. I remember it being pretty good too. But yeah, that's the video, guys. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, give it a like, maybe even comment some forgotten kids movies that you thought of. But for now, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.